everyone, I'm Denisa, your host today. Welcome to AUM Web Radio. Today we'll be listening to an interview with a former volunteer. We have here today with us Martin. Martin, how are you? We're so happy to see you again.
Hello, everyone. I am so happy to see you all again, even though there are some new faces among the in Sighișoara and the new volunteers. But I am really good. I'm really excited to be part of this interview and have the chance to share my experiences with everyone.
Awesome. So tell us a bit about yourself. How come you're back in Sighișoara? What brings you back here? What are you doing now with your life?
Many questions at once. So, let's begin with what I'm doing with my life so people can be a little bit more clear who I am. So I was a volunteer in Sighișoara from 2019 to 2020. I was part of a long term called Plus Make a Difference. Yeah, I remember the name. And we were here for 8 months, and during those 8 months I met a lot of volunteers in Sighișoara and outside of Sighișoara. And I'm lucky to say that I still maintain many of those relationships, and thanks to those relationships I'm back again in Sighișoara, because it's just the feeling of being here, it feels really natural. And yeah, I have a couple of friends now volunteering again in a new project, in a new short term, and I am living really close to Romania. Well, not really close, but I'm really closer than from Spain. So I had the chance to come here, and I didn't even think twice. I just booked a train and came here the first time I could. So yeah, what I'm doing with my life is right now I'm studying in Austria. I studied my bachelor in applied chemistry. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. So yeah, I was in Austria, and Austria from Romania is not that far, so it was great. Yeah.
So cool. Applied chemistry, huh? That's interesting. Let's talk a bit about your experience here at AUM. So why and how did you choose to be a volunteer in Sighișoara?
So the whole process of becoming a volunteer started when I actually knew what was European Solidarity Corps. And when I knew that I wanted to be part of that program, I just was checking everywhere in Europe throughout the dates that I wanted to do. And I found a couple of them, but I really felt connected to the project that Ada and Flori offered. Like when I read the description of the project, I was like, I really connected with the whole goal of the project and the whole methods and the dynamic of the whole project. So I really felt like I should go there, like some kind of a special vibration. And I was lucky enough to get an answer from Adam Flori, and 1 month later I was in Romania for the first time ever abroad, by myself. So yeah, that was one of the reasons. And then I also wanted to come to a country that I didn't know many things about, because I usually travel Western, like I've been in France, United Kingdom, and I never went to Eastern Europe. So I wanted to actually learn by being there. So just learn by experience and not by other people's opinion. So that was also one of the main reasons to come here. Yep.
And what does volunteering mean to you? Do you have some previous experience before your AUM experience? Is volunteering something that you still do right now?
It's an extremely broad question, what volunteering means to me, because I think it has infinite answers. Like every little aspect of volunteering, it would be a definition of it. So I will try to get into that, but it's going to be kind of hard. But to answer the second question, which is easier, no. The first time that I was volunteering, I was part of a volunteering team. It was in Sighișoara. And I kind of fell in love with the idea because my experiences was great with the volunteers, with the work that we had. And ever since, I've been in other 3 projects founded by the European Union. So I can say that I really liked volunteering, and whenever I have the chance and I have free time, I will definitely consider the volunteering option, because it's an amazing way to help others while learning about yourself and learning about others, and having an amazing time and the opportunity of being abroad, which is always nice. And I think by answering that question, I kind of answered the first one, because for me, volunteering it's a whole process of learning how to be comfortable with yourself, learning how to be comfortable with the other volunteers, learning how to work in teams. So it's a whole process of development, personal and interpersonal, and the whole thing goes along the way of helping others, which is always a really positive thing, and it makes you feel really, really fulfilled. And even though it might be the project that I was in, it was really social. Like we touched many social topics that are now kind of important. It felt amazing because just the idea of being able to share your perspectives and hearing new perspectives with people from all over the continent, it's always great. So yeah, and then the people, the experiences, everything, every moment of it, every minute, even going to shop, like grocery shopping, it's just a way of learning. So it's amazing, yeah.
So this was your first time living abroad by yourself. What did you gain from this experience of living abroad by yourself, being totally out of your home environment?
So yeah, it was a change. it was definitely a change, but I loved it because it was the push that I needed to be actually more independent from my parents. Because European Union with this Erasmus Plus program, it offers you the chance of being actually independent from them because you have to take care of yourself, you have to organize your meals, you have to organize your money, you have to handle all the allowance. So in every perspective of my life, I just became the only person being able to make decisions for myself. Like my parents were not there anymore, so I have to be confident enough and independent enough to actually do things that are good for me, and not the easy part that it's gonna be maybe worse for my health or my habits or whatever. So yeah, it was a huge step out of my comfort zone, but I'm really grateful because thanks to that little push, it just opened my eyes wide open, and it was a great thing. Yeah,
That's a really cool insight. The next question would be, how did this experience help you? Like, what have you learned as a volunteer? It's kind of connected to what you just talked about.
what I learned as a volunteer, so my project was connected to facilitating workshops regarding gender equality and efficient communication, but we also used that knowledge to try to touch other topics. We also did workshops regarding teamwork, volunteering abroad. So all those experiences helped me learn and develop many skills like related to facilitating. I remember that in January we had a whole training regarding facilitation, and I think that the whole facilitating abilities and skills help you when it comes to performing in front of people that you're doing the workshop for, but it also helps you like boost your confidence a lot because you at the end you are in front of people and you are the peer, you're the trainer somehow. So that is also a really good way of feeling confident, of growing a little bit of more self not respect, but you will make yes, kind of self-esteem, because you're there, you're the facilitator, and it helps you a lot when it comes to public speaking or trying to get the feedback, and the whole process of dialogue between the participants. It was always great, and it's skills that you can either use while doing workshops and for your personal life. So one part of the volunteer, which is facilitating, helping in that way, but I can keep on going, but I think it's too much. But yeah.
Okay, so this was not only your first time volunteering, not only your first time living abroad by yourself, also your first ESC experience. From what I understand, you had 3 more. So can you talk a bit about why you would recommend ESC? From what I understand, it impacted you quite a bit.
It definitely backed me up for 2 years. So I would and I do recommend ESC for everyone. Like every time that I get to know someone new and I'm telling them about what I've been doing these years, ESC comes up. Like it's obvious, it's been part of my life now for 2 years, and I think it's a great opportunity for everyone, everywhere in Europe, to actually travel it's the perfect mobility tool because European Union is just making it the easiest way possible for everyone to try it. It's not making any barrier for, like, it's not making a language barrier. It's not making an economic barrier or social barrier. Everyone, anywhere with any social background or economic background, they can just apply to it. And that's the whole meaning of ESC, like overcome those barriers that people might face and still be able to travel abroad and to get to know other cultures and yes, get out of the comfort zone and learn to be more independent, to have like a more broad mindset and open mindset, and like all the values that ESC shares with other volunteers are great, and I think it's just not close to anyone. So I think it's a really good chance for everyone at some point in their lives, when of course between 18 and 30, but I always recommend it to everyone because it's a great way to get to know people and to get to know yourself in many ways. Yeah.
For all of our listeners, I'd like to remind that ESC, this term, is European Solidarity Corps. So this is a program, an initiative by the European Committee or Commission, European Commission. And you can find short-term or long-term projects on their portal. Asociația AUM is also publishing the volunteering opportunities on this portal. There's where you can find us and apply. Okay, so what advice do you have for future volunteers? Let's say I'm a young person. I just turned 18. What should I take into consideration?
Many things. Many things, but I think the most important thing that you have to take into consideration is that you cannot expect anything. Like when you're planning a trip abroad, you might have all these expectations in your brain, how it's gonna go, who are you gonna meet, how your work is going to be, but the less expectations you have is the better, because you will never know where you're gonna end up, with whom you're gonna end up, and what kind of work you're actually gonna do. It happened to me. I had expectations and my expectations were met, so I got frustrated. So I recommend people, of course it's a really hard thing to do, just not to have expectations, but I think it's a really good tip because then you actually get to experience the whole project more, because you are just doing what you have to do, not what you thought you were gonna do. So yeah, that's one thing that I recommend. And also be open to everything, because you're gonna find people from everywhere in the world with extremely different experiences, and you will learn out of those experiences. Even though they're not yours, they can be a lesson to yourself somehow. So I think that the more open you are and the more easygoing you are with the whole process of internationalism, is that a word? The whole international environment, the better, because you can find out so many things about other people and about yourself. The more open you are, the more every person is gonna make a mark on you. They will leave something in you, and it's beautiful. Yeah, I don't know anything else. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, let's move forward. So maybe there are people listening to this little bit of radio, little bit of podcast, and they're considering coming in an ESC. And they found us, Asociația AUM in Sighișoara. Why should people come and volunteer at AUM?
Just do it. I mean, if you see AUM, just go for it. Why would I recommend it? The whole environment. It's just positive. I really enjoyed from the first month that I was here until yesterday that I have a conversation with Adam Flori. They are always encouraging people to explore themselves, and they will always create a space and an environment where people are allowed to grow, where people have the chances to do what they desire, and they will have the tools because Adam Flori will provide them. AUM is just a space where creativity is flowing constantly. If you have any ideas, it can be explored and it can be done. If you have any skills, any hobbies, you will be able to share them. It's just an amazing opportunity to creatively express yourself and that also helps you a lot with the whole identity expression, because the more freely you are, the more comfortable you're gonna be in the environment, and the more positive vibes is just gonna have the whole project. And since I've been here, I've met a lot of people, and you can really see that vibe going through everyone. Like, everyone is just creating a really good environment where no one feels, at least that's my experience, where no one feels judged, and where everyone has a chance to express themselves however they want. And I think that's a really beautiful thing that Adam Flory are doing, and they're creating it, and they are successing at it, because I can speak for me and also for some friends that I've talked that volunteer with AUM, and it happens. It happens. It's just there, and it just makes it so much easier. So I think volunteering with AUM, it's a great experience where nothing's gonna stop you, and you're gonna live fully everything at 100%.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you, Martin, for all of your kind words and sharing your experience. It's really a valuable expression of your experience. Thank you for being with us today at AUM Web Radio. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Asociația AUM to stay in touch and see what our volunteers are up to, see what our projects are about right now. Thank you for being with us. Bye.
Bye.